That we lower our gaze from two things. You lower your gaze when what you're looking upon is attractive to you, even if the awrah is covered, and you also lower your gaze from the awrah that's uncovered.
So this is more complicated. We've made it more complicated than the Sahaba. Don't complicate this. There's nothing indignified about that. Don't go date a girl now, and don't take, oh, son, NOUMAN gave a lecture, I want to take you out to dinner. No, no, no. Not that either. But can you have respectful interaction with someone you're interested in for marriage? Absolutely. Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that. Can you take your time to understand each other's likes and dislikes? Yes, it's fine. Respectful courtship is okay. With parental guidance, in dignified fashion, there's nothing wrong with it.
To keep the interaction public, so to make sure that you're not secluded in some place. You know, there's sometimes MSA people, a sister will be like, oh, I'll go pick up my books from your apartment. No, don't do that. Because that even if it's like somewhat public, you know, it has like a question mark over it, because it's not so public. Like this conference is public, on campus at a restaurant or in the library is public. But sometimes, you know, if you find yourself, and this is what a sister had mentioned to me, she was getting notes from her brother, and he was like, oh yeah, that's in the trunk of my car. She goes out to the parking lot. They're the only two people in the parking lot in her university because everyone else was gone. And it's technically an outside space. She didn't technically, you know, break a rule, but it's one of those things that it's like you know, we avoid the shubuhat, we avoid the doubtful things.
So what happens is we have two extremes. We have people that are more conservative than the Sahaba, and then we have people that are more liberal than liberals. Okay, and Islam is right in between. It's a natural way. It's a completely natural way. Okay, and so this is something that I thought it's important to mention for families and for yourself. Talk to your daughters. Ask if they like someone. Don't create between fathers and daughters, there should be open communication. They should not be terrified to tell you that they're interested in somebody. Don't force them to marry someone they don't want to. Don't force your daughters and tell them, if you don't marry this one, who's going to come and marry you?
There should be purposes. Right? So we're organizing an event. This is a purpose to come together around. We are discussing a chapter that for our halaqah that we're going to cover together. This is a positive purpose to come around. Even you know, like interacting with one another, saying, you know, how are you? How's your family? This is all okay. You know, Islam is, if you look at the interactions of the companions, subhanAllah, you would find that they're much more fluid and organic. But you do have this quality of goodwill, that people know their boundaries when they're talking to each other. And because it's coming from a place of actual consideration, subhanAllah, that there's not a need to be so, you know, scared or paranoid in the interaction. We're scared and we're paranoid, usually because we don't know, we're speaking to people of different backgrounds, and we're so afraid of being misperceived as too friendly, right? Or I don't want the sister to think I want to marry her, or I don't want the brother to think I want to marry him, but I just want to ask him, how was your exam? You know? So just, if you understand the Sharia, you can ask him, how was your exam? And if you do it with the right intention, subhanAllah, this is another thing I've noticed, even some of the most shy people, when you deal with them with a good intention and a good manner, they are welcoming of that interaction. And they don't feel that someone has invaded their personal space.
And for young men, the last bit of advice is for young men, become men. Earn a living. Be dignified. Don't offer like dates for mahr. The Sahaba used to give, what other thing are you a Sahabi? Other than the Kit Kat you want to give for mahr. You know. No. Be dignified. You know, earn a decent living for yourself. Don't say, I like her, I don't have a job, but I don't know, her family's only interested in dunya. Yeah, that's why we have mahr. Only interested in dunya. You're supposed to be concerned about dunya too. وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. It's in the Quran. Don't forget the portion you are owed in this life. It's a worldly decision too. It's not just a spiritual decision. How is somebody going to provide for my daughter? Where is she going to live? Is she going to live a decent life? These are respectable questions. These are decent questions. So these things we have to take very, very seriously in our communities.